now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 17 to
Keep
nothing.
that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Right back at it, top of the hour, power here on the SportsGrid Network, setting the table for the rest of your SportsGrid day to keep you involved in all the interesting topics that you need to know that makes you a smarter person around that water cooler. We got NFL action tonight. We got NBA action tonight. We got college basketball, as Joe Ranieri pointed out, at 11 a.m. Eastern today. Yes, we're not even a feast week yet, and we're getting round-the-clock college hoops, which you have to love. Action on top of action. That's what we provide. Donnie Rightside, Joe Ranieri, SportsGrid Network, the early line, always the place to be each and every weekday morning.
Yeah, gotta love it, right? Waking up this morning here, get a little pre-afternoon basketball to get it going, heading into a monster one tonight between Bama and Purdue, two of the top 10 teams in the country. We're going to learn a little something about both those teams tonight.
Actually, you know what? In hour number 2 that we like too, people learning a little bit about how winning your bets makes a lot of sense. As Joe and Donnie yesterday go 2-0 on our best bets here. 2 more best bets at the end of this hour, so make sure you certainly stick around and have some fun with us. But let's get to the early lineup, and we got to get to Jameis Winston. He's back as the starting quarterback, I should say, in the NFL, this time with the New York Giants. Russell Wilson, nobody likes you. Nobody's going to go to your parties anymore because Jameis is the new king of Manhattan, specifically if he can win this football game against the Green Bay Packers. They're touchdown dogs in this game, but the fun has just begun because famous Jameis is back.
I think it's going to be a whole lot of throwing the ball, throwing it up for grabs. Listen, if for nothing else, Donnie, this is going to be maybe one of the most entertaining games that we get this week because you have a Green Bay team that's probably a little salty about what they did there against Philadelphia on Monday night. But you also have, Jameis Winston, the right guy at the right time for this kind of dysfunction. The guy's smiling, he's singing, he's whistling, and everyone, they love him in a locker room. So it should be interesting to see just how bad they get beat here.
By the way, Jameis Winston, Joe, that 2019 season is last with the Buccaneers before I believe they went to Tom Brady. He threw for 5,100 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 30 interceptions, man. Like, that's the type of fun, Joe, we can have this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, his props are going to be, I don't know what his interception prop is, Donnie, but it's probably, you can probably ladder that up to 4 or 5, I think, and still cash.
Appendicitis here from Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to be out at least against the 49ers and probably for the foreseeable future at this point. We'll see when he gets back. By the way, I don't know, what does that feel like, an appendicitis? Like, how do you know something is wrong? Like, you just can't function? Like, thank goodness I've never had one. But I can't imagine, like, that's got to be debilitating. Like, oh, no, it felt like somebody just stabbed me, right?
Yeah, not good. And it's, basically, pumping poison through you while that goes on. So, yeah, no, a lot of antibiotics. They got to get that going, and they got to get that fixed. And it's unfortunate because, him with Kyler Murray was not great, but him with Jacoby Brissett has been very good for this Arizona offense here. But somebody else is going to have to step up here against I want to say a winnable game coming up for them.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one to find out. NFC, a lot to do, specifically in that NFC West here. Let's head over to a football player, but not on the football field, and retired, and probably not because he wanted to. The NFL retired this guy. It's Antonio Brown. But how about this, Joe? Post-bail, monitored with an ankle monitor. Going to trial, it looks like, for attempted murder charges here. My goodness, Antonio.
I just, do not antagonize law enforcement and make it seem like they're playing hide and seek and they can't find you, which is exactly what he did until they found him in Dubai and dragged him back. Now he's got an ankle monitor on in South Florida. And as sure as I'm sitting here, Donnie, yeah, something is going to happen between now and his court dates.
When you own a Major League Baseball team, right, or you're a general manager, you dream of drafting guys like Tarek Skubal to your team. Hey, man, I just drafted a guy who's going to be a multi-time back-to-back Cy Young Award winner, and the next words out of your mouth are, yeah, we probably got to trade him because we can't afford him. My goodness here, Skubal, fantastic season once again. We'll see if he continues his career, how long he does with those Tigers, but he does win back-to-back Cy Youngs, an absolute filthy left-handed pitcher.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable season there. I mean, he almost single-handedly dragged Detroit into the postseason and maybe beyond. But unfortunately, he doesn't hit. If he did, then maybe Detroit would have had a better shot. But certainly from a pitching perspective, yeah, it would not shock me, Donnie, if once again, going into next year, he should be the odds-on favorite to win it.
Boy, he would look good in a Dodgers or a Yankees uniform, right? Just spread the riches around Major League Baseball at this point here. And then we'll get to the next topic, talking about Bradley Beal and spreading the riches around. Well, at least to his own bank account here. When you talk about ROI, like owners in NBAs, professional sports, what's my return on investment? If I pay Ohtani $750 million and you tell me I can make that back up in 1 year because how good a player he is, let's go out and do that. That makes business sense. Signing Bradley Beal, maybe the worst business sense you can ever have. Hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts with, again, Joe, nothing to show for it. Bradley Beal, get your surgery, hang out.
And now going to be gone for the rest of the year. And again, they're not getting any younger on this Clippers team. And Steve Ballmer, I don't know how many other tree companies that he owns or doesn't own, but he's going to be paying out an awful lot of money to guys that are not going to help him win a whole lot of basketball games this season, unfortunately.
Oh, no, Joe. Michigan State's on probation. Oh, no, end of the world at this point. What do you think about the NCAA sinking their... By the way, should they operate more like the FBI? Like when the FBI builds up their case, like they hammer you and take you to court and smoke you. I don't see too many penalties that are damaging football teams. Ever since like SMU got the death penalty, and they're like, we can't do that again to an institution because it'll take 30 years before they can come back. Or Miami, let's devastate them so much here that they eventually were able to come back. But the NCAA is like, we make too much money to hurt any of our institutions. How about we take a couple wins away that nobody ever remembers, Joe?
Yeah, we're vacating wins. You've got to be kidding me. In an era, Donnie, where your backups to the backup left tackle is making 6-7 figures and NIL money, and you're eliminating wins as a punishment because, oops, we actually paid for a plane ticket or a hotel room on a recruiting trip. You got to be kidding me, Donnie. Just shows you how clueless the NCAA really is.
It is. Let's get over. Is this going to be Netflix? Is this going to be Amazon Prime? It's going to be Jake Paul finalizing a deal to fight Anthony Joshua in December here. A heavyweight fight, Joe. And by the way, maybe it'd be a bigger draw. How about like if he fights his brother? Does like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, like were they ever going to square up? Like I think that would do numbers.
Well, it's so funny because the guy he was going to fight, it was half his size, and now his replacement is a dude that's going to tower over Jake Paul. I don't even think he's the favorite in this one, Donnie. I think he's actually an underdog in this one. And if I'm Anthony Joshua, I mean, what else were you doing, dude? This is a huge payday to go into the ring and take a couple of shots and then go out and celebrate afterwards. Win-win, if you ask me, for Anthony Joshua.
But who was he actually fighting, Jake Paul, who dipped out? Who was the guy who was fighting? Like Gervonta Davis. Is that the guy that's been in the news lately for a little bit spiraling out of control in a couple things? I mean, come on, man.
Yes.
I mean, this is what you get. But also, it's all about eyeballs on fights. And I hate to say it, Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua, I'd rather watch that fight than any boxer that's currently out there now, because why? We never get good fights. That's always been the issue. Remember all those years like, oh, I hope Manny Pacquiao actually is going to fight, Floyd Mayweather. Let's wait 15 years before they fight. This is the problem with boxing. They never give you what you want at the time when you want it.
That's that, and they have not for a very, very long time, Donnie, and it's unfortunate. But I don't know. Maybe a lot of those UFC guys now start going back to boxing gyms.
Get back in there, make some money, people. We'll be right back. It's the early line on a Thursday morning on the Grid.
We now have to figure out if they will be in the playoffs. They're the Super Bowl favorite and have shorter odds to miss the postseason as you and I sit here right now.
Right, but let me ask you this. Do you feel after this 5-4 record, 9 weeks, 10 weeks of the regular season, that their defense is as dominant as it was last year?
But the offense is better.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Fly, Pelican, more like grounded Pelican. The Pelicans are 0-6 to start the season. Their main guys aren't their main guys. And it comes to a point where, what do you do if you are Joe Dumars and the leadership of New Orleans?
Pro Basketball Today, only on SportsGrid.
You want to throw $12, $13 million at Kiffin? That's always a possibility. Summerall, they lost the other night to, in that matchup to UTSA. Or do you go back to potentially the mad scientist and Nick Saban, give him, complete control of the athletic department and see if he can turn it around? We'll see. But whatever they go, they're going to need a coach to hit the ground running.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
His daughter, she's on the OF.
Okay.
She's on the OF.
Is that right?
Yeah, she's on the OF.
So he's got
now.
an OnlyFans daughter and a little son
who says he can beat Curry and LeBron.
And he's coaching a team that was down 72 to
Keep
nothing.
that dude away from polite society.
Okay, brother, I'm with you. I didn't know any of that is.
Numerous pops gotta go.
The Craig Carton Show, only on SportsGrid.
Little college football talk here. So we've been talking for most of the show, too, about, Michigan State, which didn't really come up on the football landscape right now. Bad football team. Maybe they'll get it together. We don't know. But I always love when the NCAA, sinks their teeth into a university. It's like, well, what was the penalty for? What did they actually do? And what is the outcome here? And why are we penalizing, the player's future? Which I agree with. It's not fair if I show up at Michigan State for something that happened 5 years ago that I'm going to get penalized for, but there's no real way to go about like punishing football programs. Like, again, Michigan maybe had the worst cheating scandal I've ever seen in the history of college football. They won a championship. They're fine today. They'll pay money. They'll lose losses. Hey, Harbaugh, you can't come back for 10 years and coach a football game here. Well, he's never coming back. But the Michigan State one does make me laugh. And also, so many times throughout the years, like the NCAA is asking the university to turn themselves in, and then they take mercy. We'll give up a bowl game this year just so we can play and stop the madness. So, but Michigan State, slight penalties here. Nobody cares. NCAA, just go away.
You're basically vacating 14 wins that nobody even remembers Michigan State had. And now poor Jonathan Smith, who is the new head coach there, you basically wiped away any wins he's actually had since he took over the program. So it's poor guy here. It's not a good day, and it's not a good look by the NCAA in an era in which you're paying millions upon millions of dollars to these kids now, and you're slapping them on the wrist, vacating wins for something for plane tickets and hotel stays for recruits 4 years ago. Come on.
I'll tell you, the person that it affects the most here, and it's not even the bottom line. It's like, again, like you're a coach at a university. It's like, wait, I really didn't do anything wrong, but they're taking my wins away because the players were here when I took over the program. And then when you're like old and you sit back like, hey, grandpap, how did you do at Michigan State? It says you didn't win any games there. That's not true, grandson. I won 6 games there. They took away from me at this point. Make sure you remember that at this point. But Michigan State on probation. They don't factor into the national title picture. So not really a big deal. But I'll tell you who does factor into it. The college football playoff rankings released on November 11th. Ohio State 1, Indiana 2, A&M 3, Alabama 4, Georgia number 5 here. The big boys up top. And now we are calling Indiana big boys here, pulling their big boy pants up. They're going to end up taking Ohio State on in that Big Ten championship game here. But if I said today, Joe, any of those first 5, they all get in, right, to the college football playoff. They're not going to have any meltdowns late season, are they?
Oh, well, they might very well
Never
here,
know.
but it doesn't shy. We're going to know a little something about next couple of weeks are going to be big, but you got to love Greg Sankey, the SEC, the big wig there running the SEC, who told everybody that he sees in the very near future a scenario in which the SEC, Donnie, is an 8-bid conference.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
8-bid with 12 teams. So that means the SEC is going to get 8 and the Big Ten is going to get the rest. Like, it's just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious.
By the way, Joe, that sounds like my dream scenario. 8 out of the SEC, 4 out of the Big Ten, nobody else in. Like we don't need the ACC. We don't need the remnants of the Big 12 getting in there. We don't need any of that stuff. I'm actually, as dumb as it sounds, how you just explained it, I think it might be the way to go in the future. What do you think about that?
Listen, when the minute that they started with these mega conferences, right, that was always the fear where, okay, great, everything's going to come from these 2 conferences. And sure enough, that's the road we're heading.
That is the road we're headed here. And also a big-time road we're headed down this weekend, which starts in Georgia, Joe. 7:30 p.m. on a Saturday night. Texas versus Georgia, 5.5 to 6s across the board in a total that sits now at 48.5. Hey, Texas, I bet you just were hanging out in the Big 12 at this point. Now you'd probably be undefeated and number 1 in the country, but you have 2 losses. You're a top 10 team. You're playing a top 5 team. Theoretically, I don't know if we're going to get a 3-loss team in the college football playoff. So if Texas loses, they just might be out here, Joe.
Well, if they lose this one but beat Texas A&M, then, they have a really good shot of actually being a 3-loss team that's going to get in. So, it's not over for them if they lose this one, but it would certainly go a long way into making sure then no matter what happens in the upcoming Texas A&M game, it won't matter. You're likely in as a 3-loss team anyway.
You should, by the way, you should be, because they're going to be like, well, this team has 2 losses, this has 3. They're not the same. If you play a cupcake schedule and go undefeated, or you play in the SEC and take 2 losses, like the 2-loss team should theoretically get in, but most people don't like that. There's an SEC bias. Like, I love the Miami Hurricanes. I cheer for them. If Miami finishes with 2 losses and Texas with 3, and Texas has that type of resume put together, I'm putting Texas in over Miami, over my Miami. Oh, but you only got 2 losses. You got 3. Wins and losses matter. No, they don't if you have to tell the full story about how you got those losses or how you got those wins on an easy schedule. Here, Oklahoma, Alabama, SEC, 3:30 in the middle of the afternoon on Saturday, Joe. 5.5 to 6 point line here across the board. Oklahoma comes to town. Look at their record, Joe. 2 losses. Alabama 1 loss here. Could we have an eliminator in this game with a low total of 46.5?
It's so weird, Donnie, because the Oklahoma Sooners heading to Tuscaloosa, not something that we have heard over the years, never seen it, and now I believe it's the first time that OU is a member of the SEC, and it's only the second time since 2003 they've actually had to go to Tuscaloosa. So this is not something we are used to seeing, but I can tell you, for whatever reason, Donnie, OU are getting a lot of love in the marketplace here. I'm going to be very interested to see when the Alabama money starts to hit, because you and I both know that Alabama money will hit prior to kick. So if you want to get to Alabama, I would bet it sooner rather than later, because that money's coming in.
I'll tell you this. Notre Dame and Pittsburgh, sneaky game here. And also, Notre Dame has 2 losses. I keep on banking that they're going to be in the college football playoff because, number one, I'm a realist. They want Notre Dame in the playoff. They'll find a way to get them in there with 2 losses. But their schedule has been easy. 7-2 Pitt, though. Sneaky here at home, catching double digits from the Fighting Irish, Joe.
Yeah, and this is their national championship, Pittsburgh and Pat Narduzzi, right? I mean, they didn't start the year off great, Donnie, but they made the quarterback switch, and ever since they did that, they have been on a roll in the ACC, and my goodness, listen, do I think they're going to upend Notre Dame? No. Can they keep this thing close and make them sweat? Absolutely.
Never ends here in college football. Well, technically it does. We had a good Saturday workout here and a lot of intriguing options. Let's get to the Kalshi markets, people. Buy high, no, buy low.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It is a sickness in this league. They stink, and they should stink next year. That's it.
But the expectation is to be a 9-8 football team.
So let's shake it. Why is that the expectation? They're garbage. And traded away 2 of the few good guys they have.
But they're going to get how many draft picks in the first round? 3 next year?
2.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Brissett has been that good. So this is a quarterback that I think is worth acquiring, especially in Superflex leagues. If somebody's already got QBs past the bye and Brissett's just collecting dust on somebody's bench, go out there, get him, because I think the next 4 weeks, some of the matchups too, he gets Jacksonville, he gets San Francisco, he gets Tampa. Those are going to be some higher scoring games potentially. Good news for fantasy managers who are trying to get Jacoby Brissett.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's prop was 15, right? And he's at 44. If you altered him to 20 or 25 plus, those are some big numbers. Like 15.5, like Jack Besh this morning was 11.5, and his number got bet up to 15.5. Tyler Lockett was 16.5 and bet down to 15.5. If you just took a shot, like 15 to 25 is nothing. And next week, his number's not going to be 15.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Joe Ranieri and Donnie Wrights out here. It's time to talk some Kalshi markets today across the sports betting landscape here. A different way to approach your betting here where you can trade it like stocks. Buy low, sell high. That's the name of the game. Or if you don't like what you got, get out of your position and don't take too much damage. Let's talk about pro basketball. That's the NBA, the Eastern Conference champion. Cleveland in the leader spot right now with a 30% chance. New York, 20% chance. Philadelphia 76ers at a 12% chance this morning. The Eastern Conference. I guess if you could just stay healthy by the end of the season, you'll probably win it. Should that be the Cleveland Cavaliers, Joe, in your mind?
Well, listen, I think the East is wide open in a lot of aspects here, Donnie, but I don't necessarily. Cleveland is interesting because they're finally starting to get healthier, and I think they should be the clear favorite at this particular point. But, it's a long, long season. I don't know that market increases fast enough, Donnie, for me in order to invest in it. But Cleveland is the rightful favorite. And no Brunson now for the Knicks. Very hard to back them in this spot as well.
Yeah, we'll see how that one trips out there as well. And again, you take a look at Brunson, how long is he going to be down for at this point? But also, we just fight for the playoffs, and it's hard to take a position on an NBA team this early in the season because, yes, injuries do happen, but also in this, other teams are going to get better. You're going to have the trade deadline a lot up in the air to say, hey, I want to bet $100 that's going to return me $300 on the Cleveland Cavaliers at this point. So certainly not a runaway perspective here in NBA basketball. Let's take a look at college football. The championship there. Big time favorite. That's the Ohio State Buckeyes here, currently live at a 37% chance here. Indiana, 16%. A&M at 13%. Now, my question to you, Joe, I slide it all the way down. Tell me why, like Miami is at under 1%, the same as Florida State, the same as Michigan, the same as LSU and Clemson, who have zero chance to get in. Could we buy in on the Canes? Because as I asked that question and put 100 down, 10 grand on the Canes to win it all, Joe. Sounds like money well spent, doesn't it?
Well, I could put $2 down, and I got a better chance of hitting the next 6 Powerball numbers, Donnie, than the University of Miami has of even making the playoffs. So, no. The 35 cents, though, for yes on Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that, Donnie. I think there's value in that right now because we only got, 3 weeks left to go. Then we'll have conference championships. Yeah, the more they keep winning, and they will win, the more that will increase, and that's a pretty good return on an investment there with Kalshi.
How about that? And coming up next summer, Joe, the World Cup returns. Now, I say this, and I'm always, fair with the people. I can't stand soccer. It's the most boring thing on the planet. But I do enjoy World Cup soccer, Joe, because why? It's the best of the best playing for national pride, and I think that does mean something here. So when the World Cup comes around every 4 years, I'm invested and I like to watch it. Spain, the leaders right now, Joe, at 17%. France at 13%. I'm scrolling down. USA, Joe, 4%. You plunk a hundy spot down on Team USA, you come back with $3,300. USA, home court / country advantage too, Joe, coming up in the World Cup.
Yeah, no. It'll be the same characters for me, Donnie. I'll take Spain. I'll take France. I'll take England. Bet them all, Donnie, right now, because all of those will increase by the time the event gets going.
Now, let me ask you a question on this, too, because as I talk about home pitch advantage, as I guess you should say, let's just say when U.S. lines up, I don't know, at MetLife, is that going to be a heavy American crowd? Or if they play like, I don't know, the Netherlands, is all the Netherlands going to show up and buy all the tickets? Like, are we buying tickets for our own country here, Joe?
It should be a crazy one, Donnie. I mean, when they were playing the qualifiers here at Hard Rock in Miami, it was people from all over the place. It was out of control. I've never seen it that packed ever. And we know the Dolphin fans certainly aren't packing that out like that. But yeah, I would imagine, Donnie, you're going to get every country represented in stadiums around the world here.
Yeah, I'm scrolling down. You know who's going to be upset? Gabriel Morency. Why? Because I see U.S. at 4%. I don't see Canada even listed here. And by the way, like it says Italy 3%. Like we're listed actually as a higher favorite in the U.S. than Italy is.
Crazy.
How's that possible?
Yeah. Well, they're not good. That's why. Yeah, they haven't been good for a while now, unfortunately.
Croatia, 2%.
Turmoil.
Look at Mexico, 2%. Uruguay, 3%. Colombia, 3%. A lot of good stuff to look at here in the Kalshi markets here for the World Cup coming up shortly here, Joe. We're just out of time. We're getting to the Democratic nominee here in 2028. Oh, well, Kalshi. Sorry we can't go over that today. We'll be right back on the early line.
Notre Dame playing very well, in a position to crack the top 12. Now they have to take care of business.
Here's what I want from and again, we're going to go over who we think is actually going to make the playoffs here a little bit later in the show. But understand this, Joe. I don't want any ACC in there. I don't want any Big 12 in there. Just give me the Big 10 and the SEC. And Mike, quite frankly, if you just gave me Ohio State, Indiana, and the rest of the SEC, boom, boom.
Nah.
SportsGrid's College Football Today.
It is a sickness in this league. They stink, and they should stink next year. That's it.
But the expectation is to be a 9-8 football team.
So let's shake it. Why is that the expectation? They're garbage. And traded away two of the few good guys they have.
But they're going to get how many draft picks in the first round? 3 next year?
Two.
Pro Football Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Brissett has been that good. So this is a quarterback that I think is worth acquiring, but especially in Superflex leagues. If somebody's already got QBs passed by and Brissett's just collecting dust on somebody's bench, go out there, get him, because I think the next 4 weeks, some of the matchups too, he gets Jacksonville, he gets San Francisco, those are going to be some higher scoring games potentially. Good news for fantasy managers who are trying to get Jacoby Brissett.
Fantasy Sports Today. Only on SportsGrid.
Today's prop was 15, right? And he's at 44. If you altered him to 20 or 25 plus, those are some big numbers. Like 15 and a half, like Jack Besh this morning was 11 and a half, and his number got bet up to 15 and a half. Tyler Lockett was 16 and a half and bet down to 15 and a half. If you just took a shot, like 15 to 25 is nothing. And next week, his number's not going to be 15.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Will it rain in Spain on the plains, Joe? Sometimes that question has been answered throughout history, but the one thing we don't have to worry about, if it does rain in Spain, we got a retractable dome scenario for those Washington Commanders taking on the Miami Dolphins in Spain, 9:30 a.m. Neither of these teams going anywhere, but could we get some fireworks, Joe? We have a total hovering in the high 40s here, and a side that opened up as a favorite towards Washington when we thought maybe their quarterback would be Jaden Daniels. It's not. It's Marcus Mariota. So now the Dolphins are playing the favorite position at 2.5 after thumping the Buffalo Bills at home. Now they take it overseas to Spain, Joe. 2.5-point favorite for the Dolphins. Do they deserve to be favorites in this game?
Well, they do. I mean, first of all, I believe Dan Quinn has never coached an international game. Mariota, I don't think, has been in one since 2018 when he was with the Titans. But Tua has, and so is McDaniel. Tua has lost both international games by one possession in both. So and this is part of the thing, Donnie, right? Having the experience and understanding the time change and the clock and how to go about preparing, it is absolutely advantage Miami. And you got to give them credit. You know, this team had every reason to quit on McDaniel and the organization, and yet they did what they did against Buffalo last week. And it wouldn't shock me at all if they keep rolling, because Dan Quinn can call as many defensive plays as he wants. Yeah, you ain't fixing what's going on with that defense in 1 week. That is not happening. So I think Miami's the rightful favorite.
Waddle should be able to get busy. A-Chan should be able to get busy in this game. We'll see what happens here. But he got a clip video talking about Mike McDaniel, talking with about Dan Quinn, I should say, on helping him with his sobriety.
Dan Quinn holds a special place in my heart, in my career. I think he was there at ground zero when I became sober and supported me and believed in me and gave me the opportunity to continue what I love to do. So for that, I'll be forever indebted to him. I think it speaks to the type of man he is and the type of leader he is that I know really he touches every player he coaches from a true, authentic standpoint. And, I think the Commanders are very fortunate to have him.
That's Mike McDaniel, future offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles, talking about his sobriety there, Joe.
Yeah, no, I mean, and listen, I mean, we've heard from a number of different guys that, Dan Quinn is, salt of the earth kind of guy. He is truly one of the good guys there. It's unfortunate what has happened to him this year. I mean, that's 4 straight games, Donnie, of losing by 21 or more points. And I hope he's safe over there, but everybody has had nothing but great things to say about him, and especially McDaniel, who he credits with getting him sober. So good stuff there with Dan Quinn. I wish he had a better fate this year, but it is what it is with the injuries.
I don't feel bad with him. His bank account is high, Dan Quinn, regardless of how high that yards per average is against his defense, which he's going to take over. We'll see if that makes any changes this weekend over in Spain. Now we go from 9:30 a.m. start and kickoff to start your day on Sunday to the last game on Sunday night to end your Sunday. That's the Philadelphia Eagles and the Detroit Lions here from Philadelphia, Joe. Line opened up as a look at 1.5 for the Eagles. It now sits at 2.5. I'm seeing 8 out of every 10 tickets here coming in on the Detroit Lions in this football game. It should be a great one. And the Detroit Lions, if you're seeing right now, Aiden Hutchinson saying this is a must win. And also for a coach that has never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles, Detroit's going to have to step up. They want to get their coach a victory against those Birds this weekend.
Yeah, it's a good point, Donnie. I mean, they faced the Eagles and Sirianni twice, Dan Campbell has, and I believe Philly scored 82 total points in those 2 games there. Campbell is only winless against one coach, and that coach is Pete Carroll. But it could be Pete Carroll and Sirianni both 0-3 here. It's going to be a good one, but I think we're going to learn a little something about both offenses. Is Dan Campbell still calling the plays? And you got to be better, Philadelphia, offensively against this Detroit team. Otherwise, it could be a long day for them.
I'll tell you what's interesting about the Eagles, too, because I love Detroit's offense. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's the best in the NFL when it's running hot, right? Good offensive line, unbelievable running backs, really good quarterback, talented wide receivers, and an aggressive play caller, which whether it's Morton or Campbell calling those plays. But the one thing that gets overlooked, I think, just a little bit, Joe, as you saw in that Monday Night Football game, the Eagles absolutely imported a Pro Bowl defensive line in a matter of a 1.5-week stretch. And you say, well, Donnie, how could that be? You get Phillips in town. He was sensational Monday night. You also got Nolan Smith back, one of the better young defensive pass rushers in the NFL, was down for 5 weeks because of that tricep injury. And you bring back Brandon Graham. It's very rare that you get 3 starting caliber players back on the defensive line in 1 week to make that difference. And that could be it, because the reason why I talk about the defensive line for the Eagles, did you watch how Minnesota was able to beat Detroit? Man, they got pressure after pressure after pressure on quarterback Jared Goff in that game. We'll see if the Eagles can emulate that same type of a scenario here. Monday Night Football. We might get points. I don't know how talented this game is going to be overall, though. The Dallas Cowboys and the Vegas Raiders, with the Cowboys coming off a bye as favorites at -3.5 and a total of 50.5, Joe. I think we get points in this game. Why? Because both of these defenses are downright atrocious.
Yeah, no, and we know Dallas has always done a really good job of beating the bad teams, but not really good at beating any of the quality teams. And I do not think Vegas qualifies as a good team here. So would not shock me here at all if the points come, a lot of them come from the Cowboys side here. So much so that I'd probably look at their team total to go up and over. But give the Raiders credit. They had a pretty good effort last time out.
Yeah, and it's funny about that, too, because let's see what we do get out of the Dallas Cowboys, certainly jumpstart themselves out of the break, but also, playing with a little bit of heavy hearts. Like, they didn't spend their last 2 weeks partying and heading to Cabo and relaxing. Like, one of their football players passed away tragically here, where they're having memorials and funerals and trying to tie that up while getting ready for a football game. Do you think that plays any part of it here? Because we also see the other side of it, where you come back from the Dallas Cowboys there, an extra motivated team with now a lot to play for and playing in the memory of one of their fallen teammates.
Yeah, no, it's not ideal here. The time off turns out to have been not a stress-free one, to say the least. There, it's unfortunate. They are on the road for this game in Vegas against the Raiders. But listen, if they have any hopes or aspirations of getting it done, right? They made some trades. They've got some new players. Let's see what happens here against a very beatable Raiders team on the road. Let's see what the Cowboys can come up with.
Let's spin it back quickly to that Sunday Night Football game, which I think is going to be the game of the week. That the Detroit Lions in to take on the Philadelphia Eagles could go a long way. Once again, as I said last week, with the Eagles beating the Packers, deciding who's going to be that number 1 seed. But we talked about so many times already this show, Joe, with some of the highlights of A.J. Brown and what the anticipation is. Buy low, sell high at that point. He's angry. The squeaky, wheel usually gets the oil. But having said that, he's not just a player like going out the door like on his last legs. The dude is a Pro Bowl caliber player. If you had to bet on A.J. Brown on Sunday Night Football at 60.5 receiving yards, which way would you go?
I would not bet against him. And again, that defense of Detroit still a little banged up in the back end there. So if you're going to take some shots down the field, he is the guy that you're going to throw it to. I wouldn't bet against him, Donnie. I would expect good things from him against that secondary.
Looks like a fun game that's panning out, and a really good weekend. Again, as we said, starts early on Sunday morning in Spain with the Commanders taking on the Dolphins, and ends with the Detroit Lions and the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football. And then Monday night, you get those Dallas Cowboys, which you all love to hate. But hey, maybe you can win some money on that game as well. The Prime Minister of Canada is going to join us next. He's Cam Stewart as the morning early line show rolls on.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
This just goes to show that, you get a very compelling, competitive series between two teams. And listen, I understand very much international with, the team playing in Canada and Toronto and Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto and everybody else. But dare I say, I think these ratings would have been super high anyway. It was just great baseball. Next day, people talking about the games, and the biggest win for Major League Baseball in some time.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I'm not throwing it back. You don't get it. Like, no way. Even I'm not a fan of the team. I'm not, Vladimir Guerrero, home run hit ball, these things are authenticated. They have holograms on it. You can prove it. Right? So, there'll be some Blue Jay fan give you a couple of $100K for that. You know what I mean? Guaranteed. World Series ball, home run, you're getting a couple of $100K at least. I'm not throwing that back. No way in hell.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circus Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
It's a Thursday on the early line right here on the Sports Grid Network. There's so many options where you can go sometimes during the show. I'm Donnie Rightside, he's Joe Ranier, but the best option always is starting with Cam Stewart, the Prime Minister of Canada. The energy, it's always there with Cam. He's ready to provide knowledge. Even in the Butterfield Bermuda Championship, we can get excited, Cam.
Ooh. Oh, we can. We love butter. We love Bermuda. Wish I had the money. Maybe Joe and one of our guys, if we'd come in and win 100-1, Donnie, we could go to Bermuda. Instead, I go to the other B word, Buffalo. That's where I go on vacation, in Buffalo. Unbelievable, Joe. We got Garrett Higgo coming down the stretch, and ooh, a smooth double bogey. Oh, he finishes fourth, Donnie. Golf will drive you nuts. I'm hitting T5, T10, and T20 markets all day long now because it's hard to win a golf tournament, but Joe, you're telling me about you like Patrick Fishburne this week. Well, good luck to you. I'm on a couple tools. I got Schmid from Germany, Sammy Valimaki. His brother's the hockey player in Utah. And who else do I got? A couple other turkeys, but we'll see what happens. Watch out for Michael Brennan, too. He's played in 2 events, and he's won 1. He's already off to a hot start.
Hot starts there. By the way, Cam, when you're growing up in Canada, did they have the brochures out there like vacation in Niagara Falls? Was that like a real thing in that area?
Oh, big time. You go to a cheap hotel, Donnie, where we used to bring in the beers and liquor, and you see these cheap little old wooden things. Niagara Falls, Buffalo. Donnie, you know, where do I go on my vacation? I go to Seneca. Like I literally last week drove to Buffalo to watch a hockey game because the price was 1/7 the cost of Leaf tickets. I'm 4 rows behind the goalie. I'm telling you, I love it there. The wings are so good. The pizza. I'm a very simple man, Donnie. You give me great chicken wings, a nice sub, some pizza, pub food, I'm in. But Buffalo, man, they get rocked by snow. You think it's bad here? Guys, where do you want to go? Do you know there's also, as Prime Minister, I have to lay it down, Grey Cup. It's the Grey Cup this weekend, fellas, on Sunday.
Wow.
Right when I'm watching that Seahawks-Rams game, we'll roll right into the Canadian Football League Championship game. Les Alouettes de Montreal versus the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Right now, 3.5-point favorites are Saskatchewan. Morency's like in Montreal. I like Saskatchewan. But, guys, shop around. I'll tell you one thing. 4 is the number in some spots. If you can get Montreal at 4, that line is not going to go any higher. It'll go down. Probably close at about 3. So, guys, I like Saskatchewan in this game. And we go MOP, most outstanding player, instead of MVP. That's the way they do it in Canada. Do boot it. AJ Ouellette, former Ohio Bobcat running back, is my MVP pick for the Riders. Go Melonheads.
It feels like they've been playing the CFL since January of last year. Like it feels like it's an 11-month season. It's unreal, Cam, right? It's absolutely crazy. Now, my question to you, Cam, is that will either of those teams in the Grey Cup, could they beat the Jets? Because it feels like everybody thinks New England's just going to run them over, but I'd be a little scared laying 2 touchdowns here. What are you thinking?
We were on the Raiders last time, and it's hard. You got to plug your nose and go, oh, my God, it's a stinker. But I got to be honest with you, Joe. By the way, Joe, looking great. The tan looks fantastic. I can't do it. I just can't do it this week with the Jets. Like, I got to find ways to, basically like go Henderson touchdown parlayed money line or whatever, or an alternate spread. I just can't get behind it. I felt the Raiders last week. Guys, would it shock you if New England won this game by 21 to 24 points? I don't know. They're playing great, but you said it, Joe. Everybody, New England, the darlings of the league, they go into Tampa Bay and get it done. We've seen this movie before, but I just can't get down with the Jets. I know it's 13 points, but it's New England or nothing for me, guys. What do you guys feel about the total in this game? I'm trying to figure it out. Oh, I think there might be more points than anticipated. Maybe a sneaky over. Oh, yeah, Donnie, I'm in my pool, and it's the best. We're doing a live stream. Everyone's like, this Eagles-Packers game is a crap. What? 0-0? I have the under? Like our bar pool? I'm like, yes, this is the best 0-0 football game ever. It was so amazing, Donnie. The problem with me is I win $800, and I buy back $400 for everybody that played in the pool. I'm an idiot. No shots after I win this week, losers. Yeah, I go, if you show up the next day, you get a drink? Oh, yeah, every guy in the pool shows up. You guys, I'll get you next time.
Exactly. It's like painting a Picasso there if you had the under. Like, everybody hates it. Like, this is the greatest game I've ever watched in my entire life in the NFL here. Cam, I want to talk to you NHL tonight. We talk about the big pooches and those Buffalo Sabres. Did you know Colorado tonight is sitting around a minus 350 price point over those Buffalo Sabres? Are there any pooches out there tonight in the NHL that you like?
The Buffalo Sabres, Donnie, were a dog that, he came out and attacked you. He got one bite. And then after that, you know what I mean? You just gave him a little bit of a poison steak and he rolled over and he went into a seizure with foam coming out his mouth as Utah scored 5 straight. I'm done with the Sabres. If you want to do anything with this game, I would take the over. Okay, this is as Prime Minister, this is it. Toronto Maple Leafs, biggest underachievers going. What are you doing? You lose to Boston.
Wow.
You're at home to the Los Angeles Kings as a pooch. I will be on them tonight. I know your friend, who's the guy on Twitter? He always tweets me. He's like, Cam, I can't stay mad at you for those hockey picks. I was good last time. I've been bad. I was on the Blackhawks last night, and that was an absolute heartbreaker against New Jersey. But I like the Leafs tonight, Donnie. Other things that I'm looking at, Anaheim, maybe a bounce-back spot after that loss to Colorado. They're a hot hockey team, plus 110. I like Ottawa over Boston, but the price is too much at $1.55. And that's about it. Yeah, I think I'm going to stop right there, Donnie. I'm taking the Leafs, and if I lose, you can vote me out of I won't be the Prime Minister much longer, not even an alderman. Like, I'm done. This team is really pissing me off. God, they suck. But I like them tonight.
How is Edmonton a underdog against the Blue Jackets tonight here, Cam?
Joe, I'm telling you, I watched that Edmonton Flyers game back-to-back. Edmonton was junk. In the first period, they were all over Philadelphia. They're actually not playing that well. I'm going to be honest with you. I'd look at Columbus in that game. Columbus is a very good home team. They murder teams. I know if Edmonton would have lost the game, I would have been, But now the fact that they won, I would look at Columbus in this spot. Edmonton hasn't been playing very good, and the Blue Jackets are surprisingly a tricky hockey team, Joe. Not my favorite game on the board, but I'd lay it down with the Jackets.
Cam, real quick here. Seattle Seahawks, Los Angeles Rams, Sunday, 4:05. Unbelievable football game. Seahawks getting +3. What do we think about that one?
Oh, we're thinking Seahawks, Donnie. And we're thinking money line. I am all over the Seattle Seahawks in this game. Just keep Sam Darnold upright, a little JSN, get that running game going. Donnie, I think they can win this game. I really do. And it's not even a homer pick. They're playing great football right now. Give me the 3. Seattle's better on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Let's rock.
The Prime Minister rocking and rolling on the early line. Cam, thank you so much for getting up with us and bringing that energy. We absolutely love to see. We'll see you next Thursday. For Joe and Donnie, we'll shut it down next, right here on the early line.
Sauce Gardner heading over to the Indianapolis Colts as they go all in on this season and beyond. As I think a lot of people have been noting, that move does not just say, hey, we like what we have this year. It says we like what we have moving forward, and that includes Daniel Jones as their starting quarterback for Dallas. What does that decision to bring in Quinnen Williams say? That means they're poorly ran, but we already knew that.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
This just goes to show that, you get a very compelling, competitive series between two teams. And listen, I understand very much international with, the team playing in Canada, Toronto, and Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto and everybody else. But dare I say, I think these ratings would have been super high anyway. It was just great baseball. Next day, people talking about the games and the biggest win for Major League Baseball in some time.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
I'm not throwing it back. You come and get it. Like, no way. Even I'm not a fan of the team. I'm not, Vladimir Guerrero, home run, hit ball, these things are authenticated. They have holograms on them. You can prove it. Right? So, there'll be some Blue Jay fan give you a couple of $100K for that. You know what I mean? Guaranteed. World Series ball, home run, you're getting a couple of $100K at least. I'm not throwing that back. No way in hell.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Football contest season is back, and so is the Las Vegas Football Contest Show. Season 2, the sharpest football contest show in the land. Focusing on all 3 Circa Sports contests and the Westgate Superbook Super Contest, we handicap the games and release our contest picks every week of the season. Featuring Super Contest champions Brady Cannon, James Salinas, and former NFL player Mike Pritchard, all team will have you prepared this season like none other. Check us out every weekend right here on SportsGrid.
Are you having fun on a Thursday? You better be, because that's our goal here on the SportsGrid Network. Keep you up to date on the information you need, keep you smiling, and keep you informed here. Now, Joe and I do a lot of talking here. We have some guests like Cam Stewart, absolutely love it, but we talk most of the show. Here's your chance to talk on the show. It's our Fade the Public poll. Talk to me, people. How do you do that? Well, it's simple. You go on X, you follow at SportsGrid, and each and every Monday through Friday, we ask a question that we need answers back on the way the public is going to decide an actual function that's going to happen later that evening. Tonight's function? Yeah, it's the Jets and it's the Patriots. And our question asked in our Fade the Public poll, what is your best bet for tonight's Thursday night football matchup between the Jets and the Patriots? 4 options, over, under, New England Patriots and New York Jets here. The leader in the clubhouse, and this is a really good one outside of the over, which we'll get back to in a second. Under 43 is the leader right now live at 32.8%. The New York Jets getting 12.5 points, 29.7 live. The New England Patriots minus 12.5, 28.1. 3 really close competitions between the under, the Jets, and the Patriots, Joe.
Do we even know who the quarterback of the Jets is, Donnie? Or are we still playing the, sorry, you're going to have to guess and wait until the game starts there with Aaron Glenn? Yeah, I happen to agree. I think that this is getting to the point, and I think the line is going to keep getting closer to 14 points before kick. But this is a division rivalry on a short week, which levels the playing field. And you got a Jets team that's been, 5-3 against the number. And we've seen these Thursday night football dogs. We've seen a number of them win outright here, Donnie. The only way I could look, it would be dog or pass for me in this one. But I might have a better way to play this coming up for you.
And by the way, also, you take a look at this game and you say to yourself, oh, look at this price point of over 43.5 and only 9% of the votes getting it there. I don't know if this game goes over, but I always love to see when an over is so underwhelming as the favorite for the public. That's when you start to prick those ears up like, maybe should we be looking at the over tonight? We'll find out. It's one of those games, Joe, where you can be a genius or an absolute fool, and there's no in-between. Like, of course, the game only had 22 total points scored in this game. Of course, this game went for 55 points. What else did you expect here? We'll find out later, but right now, the leader in the clubhouse slightly is the under 43.5 points. Now, the people like, Joe, competent picks that win money. We gave that to you yesterday. We're doing it again tonight. Here's bye. The floor is yours, Joe Ranieri. Where do we head? College basketball. We got hockey. We got NBA action. We got NFL action. We got college football. It's a whole big board tonight. Narrow it down, Joe. Where are we at?
I think we're 4-0 now the past 2 days here. We're going back-to-back undefeated buys, and we're going to make it a third one in a row here. I'm going to go to this Thursday night football game, as disgusting as it is, but I'm going to split this game in half. You know who the number 1 ATS team in the first half in the NFL is this year? It's the New England Patriots. They're 8-2 to the first half line this season, and it makes total sense because Josh McDaniel, the scripted portion of the game, against inferior competition, they will have points on the board. They will have success. Now, will that continue into the second half? I want nothing to do with that. But I do think the Patriots are a really good bet in the first half to go into the break with a lead, likely, and I would say maybe a 13-3 kind of situation there. They're laying, 7.5 here, and I like them to cover that number. I believe they will have a 10-point lead, at least a 10-point lead at the break. I'd be willing to back the Patriots in the first half tonight, Donnie.
Let's see, double digits up for the Patriots. We'll cash that ticket. Heck, just be up, 8-0 here. That'll cash that ticket in. For me, I'm going to the association night the same way I went last night with a public fade. There's no way the oldest team in the NBA, after getting smashed the night before, is going to show up against the upstart Spurs in their own building. Oh, yeah, they showed up, covered the spread, and won outright last night. Now, you want a clunker of all clunkers tonight? The Pacers are taking on the Suns. The one-win Pacers are on the road. They don't win anywhere they go. The Suns are actually very good at home. Then why did this line open up at 5 and sunk to 4.5 this morning, despite 85% of the ticket count coming on the Phoenix Suns? Everybody's on the Suns. Your boy DRS isn't everybody. We're on the Pacers tonight. As ugly as it gets, plus 4.5. That sounds like a 2-0 sweep for Donnie Runset and Joe Ranieri. Tomorrow, it's a Football Friday. We'll see you bright and early.